second. Waiting on notification. Perfect. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Charles 3X out of San Diego. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. Yes, sir. The first question that we have for you, sir, is first of all, I want to let everyone know that he's a very talented and gifted author. A phenomenal book. My nieces and nephews, as well as their parents, enjoyed your book and are enjoying your book. I need to every time they come to my home, they get a chance to learn so much history, as well as see the animation. So that's always a good thing as well.
Yes, sir.
The first question that we have for you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh, wow. I first heard the teachings, man. I think it was in the 80s. In the 80s. I have a couple brothers that grew up with me that was a part of the nation. Well, their families was in the nation, and they was, they was raised in the nation. So my best friend and his brother is a part of the nation.
Mm. Wonderful, yes, sir. And what was it that you that made you finally make a decision? Like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and accept the teachings. What was it?
Man, well, bro, it was after I got indicted. After I got indicted out of California Youth Authority, and ended up going to the pen. I went to the pen gang banging. But I say my first year because I opened up Ironwood State Prison in California. That's the last prison on the border of California and Arizona, Blythe, California. So I opened up that prison. And when a new prison is opening up, everybody is trying to establish who gonna get this prison, who gonna run this prison. So when I first went to prison, it was war. But just so happened, man, there was a brother named Brother Malik Muhammad from Mosque 27 that hit the yard. And when he hit the yard, it was like not taking away nothing from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but it was like Farrakhan hit the yard because you heard it through all the buildings, So when I heard Brother Malik speak on the yard, it was like, man, after he got done teaching, I came up to the brother and I was like, man, you got something to teach me. And he was like, brother, if I got something to teach you, then you get rid of that cigarette right now. I had a cigarette and I flicked the cigarette and he said, I'll talk to you, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And just so happened, brother, that night we went on lockdown. So I had two cans of buglers that I end up setting outside my door that night. And my cellie was from San Diego, one of my comrades, and he was like, man, what you doing, man? I smoke. I was like, nah, I can't get this to you, but he was hot, but every day from that day on, I studied with Brother Malik Muhammad, you know what I mean? And one of the things that he told me was watch over whoever on the post. When I come home, protect whoever on the post. So I always held that dear to heart because he taught me so much, you know what I mean? So when I came home, I came home with the mindset that I wasn't supposed to join the nation. My job was just supposed to protect the nation from the outside. You know what I mean? So I stayed close to Brother Waliullah. but Brother Waliullah end up coming to get me, because there's an organization in San Diego called Black Men United, and it started in 2003. It started because on New Year's of 2003, two black women was killed, leaving church, going to a store, because of a gang shooting. So you had pastors, from all faiths, that came together along with black business owners and said, we got to put a stop to this. So one of the things that, I would say the executive board of Black Men United, what they did was each one of them pretty much handpicked a brother out of the trenches from different communities. And I just so happened to be the one Brother Waliullah picked. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Even though I was still connected to the nation, I wasn't connected to the nation like that, when he handpicked me. So I've been with him, man, since 2003, man. Yeah, that's my minister.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, we have, and I want to first of all thank everyone who was watching. My sister Miriam sends the greetings, my sister Naima, and thank you every people who are watching all across the country. We cannot wait to put this on YouTube. Let's go back to Brother Malik in prison and when he comes on the yard. So we've had the honor of interviewing. Well, I've had the honor, and we've, as a podcast family, have had the honor of interviewing the mother of his children, his ex-wife, and his children, two of his daughters as well as his son. And we feel very connected to Brother Malik and his family because they first watched us grow up. Me and my siblings grow up as well, so there's a connection. What was it like? What was he like? What was he speaking like when he was on the yard?
Man, brother, just so happened when he hit the yard, I, we were in the course of the Million Man March. I was on the yard when the Million Man March took place. So you have to, didn't know brothers go to work. You had you had some brothers that went to work, but the whole yard shut down. Brother Malik, man, he was while he was on the yard, brother, we had no blood and crip conflict. We had no black on black conflict. We had one race war. But other than that, the brother was the brother when it came to the teachers, he eat, slept, walked, talked, drink, everything about him, and I wanted to be like him. You know what I mean? I started tucking my shirt in, when I hit the yard, man, I hit the yard with Malik, but at the same time, I was still connected to our tribes, Crips and Bloods. And one of the things that didn't nobody believe, everybody thought, nah, that's still booyah. They heard about it on the streets, but it took me, it took blood, because I was from San Diego neighborhood Crips. And it took those that I looked at as my enemy bloods that really pushed it on the streets that, this dude has changed. He's not booyah no more. You know what I mean? That's Brother Charles. So it wasn't the Crips. It wasn't my homies. It was those that I was at conflict with. I was at odds with that really paved the way when I came home, where I didn't have to look over my shoulder for something that I did in the past. You know what I mean? And I think Brother Malik, man, just the way he moved and just the way he had me dealing with those that I looked at as my enemy, man, it was like that was my brother, So So yeah, man, brother, it was brother Malik, man. Brother Malik.
All praises due to Allah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Well, Brother Charles, I heard that you had the opportunity to speak in 2012 and open up for an amazing man known as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. How did that come
yes,
about?
my minister, and uh, just the work, you know. And one thing about it is, I'm not bragging or nothing like that, but when you train by somebody like Brother Malik, and then you the assistant to a minister like Waliullah, man, check this out. My minister, I don't even know when he gets sleep, brother, because the way he moved, man, I have to be able to keep up with him. So me trying to keep up with him is me doing the work. So that's how that came about. It wasn't anything that I was chosen over somebody that was in the mosque. And I think the only reason I was chosen because I wasn't in the mosque. I was one of them brothers outside the mosque
Mm,
that
mm.
that was connected to the nation. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I was chosen for that role. And that was like, um, even to this day, brothers ask me, man, do you know what you actually did? You opened up for Jesus, you know,
Mm.
and and when it happened, brother, I didn't take it that serious. You know what I mean? I looked at it as, I knew about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. When I looked at him, man, I looked at him as a godfather. You know what I mean? I
Mm,
didn't look
mm.
at him as then. You know what I mean? I looked at him as, this is the one man uh in the country that can call a move, and we're gonna shut it down, but I didn't look at him, as the Jesus in our midst. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
it it's still resonating. You know what I mean? Well, it's still I'm still eating off of it, man. I'm still getting full off of it. Let's put it like that.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And Brother Daniel E., our brother who's in Phoenix now, says, Assalamu alaikum, brother, said, great testimony. Thank you for showing love. And thank you everyone who always watches on YouTube, likes, shares, and subscribes. Okay, so
Let me
let's
let me
get,
just say this. Let me just one quick question, brother. One quick thing, brother, because you said something, the brother in Phoenix. Just a real quick story, man. We have the opportunity, here on the West Coast to be able, to go to Phoenix, and not only be with our brothers, but also, secure the house. So, man, I seen the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he told me he loved me. And I said, man, I love you more. And he looked at me, brother, and he said, brother, how can you love me more? And just so happened, one of the brothers was standing right to me, and I was stuck. And I could not answer that question. That was like 5 years ago, brother. And to this day, I got brothers that still when I say I love you more, they say, all right, remember what the minister said, you know what I mean? And the minister just said that again, at Savior's Day, when he said, you can't tell me we love him more than he love us. So I just thought about that when you mentioned the brother from Phoenix. But yes, sir, all praises due to Allah. But yes, sir, what would you gonna ask?
yes, sir. I was going to ask, how did you come up with, first of all, I want to let people know who are watching. We were at Savior's Day at the Host Hotel, and I was in the elevator and I saw a brother on that Sunday morning, and you introduced yourself, and you said you wanted to give me something because you recognize me from people's podcasts. I say, yes, sir. So I went, came, and you gave me an amazing book, an incredible book. What is the name of the book, and how did that come about?
The name of the book is "We Are Our Ancestors' Keepers," and the melanated edition. And how that came about, bro, is I coach youth football. And you know, when you're a defensive coach, you running 4-3s, 6-2,
Yeah.
the cover twos, you running all them defenses, brother. So I'm like, and I had Mighty Mike, in San Diego. Mighty Mike is that as soon as you come out of flag, you going into Mighty Mike. So you got the 7 and 8 year old. I got the 7 and 8 year old. So um one of the things with us, one of the things we do is, we work in the schools, bro. Right now I'm at a school. At a school that I work at. And we know when they start Black History Month, they always start from slavery on up. So one of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to train my defense the way I wanted to, teach in school, so I started on the football field. And I started running defenses, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Frederick Douglass,
Okay.
I.D. Wells. And what I did, bro, is I didn't just, run the defense. I made them go home and do book reports on the defenses that we was running. So when so you can imagine, bro, that um you in another community outside of you, outside of a culture community, and you call Hannibal, and your linebackers start running in place, and you're like elephants, you know what I mean? And you start calling Nat Turner, and you in different communities, bro. And from that, bro, it just went through the league. It went through the league like wildfire. You know what I mean? A cultural defense. So what I did was I asked, I never forget. I called a meeting with the brothers in the mosque, and sat everybody down, and I was like, man, check this out. Let's go ahead and put a book together, for the schools. You know what I mean? To where we can, we'll put this book in the school, about the ancestors. The brothers heard me, but they shot me down. Nah, brother Charles, ain't nobody going.
Because your phone's on mute. It's on mute.
I asked a couple of sisters that I work with, um, in the schools, and a couple sisters that was in the community. What did they think? So um, they was like, yeah. So one thing about it, bro, and sometime, man, man, sisters, brother, without the Black woman, this would have never been done. You know what I mean? Because, bro, I ran into the hurdles of putting a book like this together, man. Is tremendous, bro. You know what I mean? And what I had to do is I had to edit this book 5 different times so it can meet Common Core standards, to where it can go in any school throughout the country where they can't say anything about it. So yeah, bro. Even when I released this book, um, do you know I'm not gonna say Amazon, but what I did was I had Amber Books go ahead and do the book for me, because they was the #1 African American self-publishing company in the country. I wanted this book to be different from any other books that was out there. So I wanted the best to do it.
Mm,
So when they did it, bro, they told me out of thousands of books that they've published, they ain't never had a book like that. And I already knew it. Um, but when I released this book, bro, they held up the orders for 90 days until the money went back on people's account. And then not only that, but the book, this hardback right here is $39.99, but the softback was $29.99. And all I was able to do was release the softback at the time. I wanted to get the book out
mm,
during Black History Month. Man, do you know they held on to that book, and do you know that that book went from $29.99 all the way to $56 without
mm,
one what man. And the book is in 41,000 outlets all over the world. It's everywhere. So you can imagine everybody that's supporting the book and the project is that ordered the book. They still ain't got their book. Their money done went back on their accounts, and now the book done came out for $56.
mm,
The book is online for $6. This is how this is how they did your brother, man.
mm,
So then what I had to do, bro, I had to go back and I had to release an ebook, an audio book, and a hardback all at the same time within a
mm.
month within a month after they did that, bro. And that's how everything flipped back to normal. But yeah, they tried to lemon drop squeeze me when it first came out. But yeah, Allah is the best knower, man. You know, and if you doing something, just know, man, you gotta work your prayers, bro. We the minister was talking about, them spook gods, man. We don't, yeah, man, we don't come from that, and you gotta work your prayers, man. When you pray and you work them prayers, man, Allah is going to assist you. Everybody around me, bro. Um, they know I work my prayers when it came to this book right here, because I wanted this book to be in the schools. I wanted our children to know that, slavery. I leapfrog slavery in this book. You know, ain't nothing about no slavery in this book. Yeah, it is. I talk about Bass Reeves, but you know, it's on a whole nother level. So yeah, this book right here is it's in 3 parts, bro. It goes into, the Hannibals, you know, hold on, let me see. The Antars, the Aminas, it go into all those that ain't never lost to a European, in war. Not taking nothing from them or nothing like that, but we had we had some kings and queens that stood firm on what they believe.
All praises to Allah.
So, that's the first part. Then I leapfrog slavery, and then I went into those that's continuing to carry the torch. And some people may not like some of the people that's carrying the torch, but you know, Allah put it, gave him a life for something. So then it go into that third part. It's a question and answer, like a little quiz, and the answer, the book is done in a way where where you can see, where our children can see themselves in it.
Mm.
Where it's a young Imhotep. Excuse me for a second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a young Imhotep. It's a young Hannibal on top of an animal, on top of an elephant. You know what I mean? So the question and answer part of the book, it gives you the adult illustration. So throughout the whole book, you know, you got that children's illustration, you know, a young Mansa Musa, you know, a young Nefertiti. And then that question and answer, that third part, the answer is the adult version of them. So yeah, bro.
Praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Let's make sure we support. Once again, you want us to do? How do you want us to? How do you want us to get the book, sir?
Man, bro, like I said, the book is in 41,000 outlets around the world. You can order it on Walmart, Target, wherever. You just type in the name. You know, it'll come up. And next week, you know, I was hoping to get the book out for Ramadan, but I had to the editors that I had for this book can't edit this other book, you know, because this book that I'm releasing next week, God willing, it's a Healthy Sisterhood, you know, a Healthy Sisterhood, and it's about 11 sisters in the medical field, you know. So I had to get a doctor to edit that because um the language wasn't adding up. So I had to have a doctor edit that book. So it's done. Everything is done now. So I'm getting everything together now. So everything, God willing, to be ready for Ramadan. Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. People are showing you love everywhere, Brother Charles. Brother Daniel E says he bears witness. He saw you on post at the National House in Phoenix. Sister Minister Aisha says the Army Min Farrakhan proved his love. People are saying all praises to Allah. My sisters are bearing witness and clapping and applauding. People are showing you love. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for the sponsors of the People's Podcast, Brother Charles, and then we're coming right back to our brother.
Yes, sir.
And thank you everyone who sends likes, shares, and subscriptions, as well as the anonymous
a camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. If you would like to donate or...
Thank you, everyone who continues to show love. Right here, right back to our brother Charles 3X. The next question that we have for you, sir, is what advice would you give to entrepreneurs?
Man, seek assistance and pray. man, bro, that right there, bro. And one thing is, bro, you have to work your prayers, bro. You got to work your prayers.
I like that.
You can't sit back and depend. It can't depend on no man or no woman. You know, it's like so when you doing the work, somebody that's not doing the work, ain't gonna want to be around you. And somebody that's not doing the work, is sometimes don't, they may have the finances to support you, but they just ain't there right now. You know what I mean? And you cannot get disappointed. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us is around people that can get us up out of certain situations. You know what I mean? And that right there, it's a letdown. But man, that's when the God kick in. You know, I'm telling you, that's when the God kick in. You cannot let nobody get you off your square. You got to stay. You got to stay on, man. You got duty. One thing the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and I heard him. You ain't no, it ain't somebody told me that, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said this, this is what I heard. He said, when you happy, work. When you sad, work. Everything he said, work. Man, duty. Anything you want, man, just do the duty. And it's gonna open up for you.
Perfect. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay. And Brother Charles, have you ever seen people that were in prison with you out after they became, after they got out and you got out? Have you all been connected? Has that been how was that? Like, have you been able to stay connected with people who got out of prison?
So look, bro. Right now, I'm in the editing stages of a film called 100 Reasons Why Black Women Should Accept a Black Man's Apology. And what I did was me, a brother and a sister, we went across the country, and we filmed 100 brothers giving apology to Black women. And one of the brothers that did it with me is somebody that was behind them walls with me. And this is something that it kind of was so happy about doing it. Forgot to get the waivers. So met with a couple of movie producers, and they was like, "Did you get the film waivers?" Like, what's film waivers? They like them signing consent, because once they hear that certain people gonna back this film, they gonna want to get paid. I'm like, nah, they wouldn't be on the film, giving their apologies if they didn't. So I had to go back, but well, we had went on the road with an iPod. So what I did was I got a professional film crew and went back out, bro. Because we put we did a sneak peek of the film to 100 Black women, and one of the asked Black women, what did you think about the film? What critique it? And one of the things was they wanted to see me apologize to a Black woman. And so the film crew and me jumped on the road and went to Oklahoma. And I popped up at my daughter's house, without her even knowing, bro, and apologized to her, for not being the father that, I know I'm supposed to be, especially being, up under the teachings, man. They look at us different. You know what I mean? They look at us different. Regardless of what you doing, brother, or who you is, if you in a nation, they look at you different. You supposed to be super dad. Ain't nothing supposed to stop you from anything. No problems, no nothing. If you in the nation, you supposed to be super dad. Bro, when I did that, my daughter was like 15, man. Do you know from that time when I did that to right now, like my daughter is like my best friend. That right there, because my daughter felt every time I came, to Oklahoma and left, you know, I didn't care about it. You know what I mean? Everything in California meant more to me than her. So after I did that, bro, it was everything changed. But I said all that to say, yeah, I have. And I'm working on a film with one of the brothers that will be behind the walls with me. Yes.
All praises due to Allah. That's powerful, sir. And Brother Charles, you
Yes,
said
sir.
you recognize me from the podcast, but I don't know if you know, I am an actor. So if y'all need some extra, you know what I'm saying, cool person to be in the movie or anything, let's connect. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk after the interview, but let's make sure we stay
No
connected.
doubt, bro.
Yes,
No
sir.
doubt. No doubt.
All right.
This right, this film, man, 100 Reasons Why Black Women Should Accept a Black Man's Apology. Yeah, you definitely gonna be in that one. You
All
definitely, brother. Like I said, we in the editing stages. You know what I mean? Because one of the things we needed to know is, we asked Black women, you know, what, you know, in your eyes, I asked Black women that was in prominent positions, you know, where, you know, some Black men are being intimidated by, you know, and I asked them, you know, in your eyes, you know, what do us as Black men need to do to take our rightful seats again? You know what I mean? And man, some of the answers is like, wow. But yeah, go ahead. Anyway, what's your next question, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My next question is, what is your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album?
Yes, sir.
My favorite album of all times, man. I would really have to say my favorite album of all times. Well, because I grew up with my father, you know, a stepfather. You know what I mean? I had two fathers, but my stepfather raised me, bro, you know. And one of the things, man, my father, man, the lakeside, man. Lakeside.
Okay.
The what is it? The Fantastic Voyage? Fantastic
Yes, sir. Yes,
Voyage?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's lakeside, man, because my father was a man's man, bro, you know, and that's when he used to be in his car, man. That was one that was that's one group that I could always think about my pops, man. You know, my pops transition 2016, man. But you know, it's lakeside, man. You know, I want to hold your hand, and
Yes, sir.
man,
Yes, sir.
they don't make music like that no more, bro. And I was a youngster listening to stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think it would be lakeside. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. All right. Well, Brother Charles, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Man, what my legacy gonna be, bro?
Yes, sir.
Frontliners, bro. Frontliners. You know, mosque number 8, man. You know what I mean? We the first mosque west of the Mississippi. You know what I mean? We used to have 2 mosques, one in Mexico, you know, and one in San Diego. You know, we need that back, you know. And so, you know, my legacy, bro, is gonna be as a Muslim, man. You know, that's my legacy, man. I'm gonna die a righteous Muslim death, bro. You know, that's my legacy, man. I can't, you know, you know, yeah, front line, man. You know, I don't, you know, ain't no bragging about nothing, but you know, anytime you need to find me, bro, front line. You know, yeah, you know, like I said, man, Waliullah. If y'all don't know who Waliullah is, you know, his roots. He's a bred Jamaican, and
Yes, sir.
they,
Yes, sir.
you know, they talk Jamaican got 8, 9 jobs. My minister, man, my minister do the work. You know what I mean? He do the work, you know. So I can't I can't not be active. Yes, sir.
Oh, praise due to Allah.
And then
And for everyone, I'm listening.
I said, and you know his son, you know, Charles, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, it's 3 Charleses in the mosque, you know. It's you know the assistant minister, the minister's son that run the security business, you know, and it's me, you know,
Yes, sir.
in the
Yes, sir.
street. So yeah, you know, we good. We good. Yes, sir. Uncut, bro. You
All
know?
praise due to Allah. But I want to, and everybody who hasn't seen, had the pleasure of interviewing the minister, Brother Wali Allah, as well as his son, Brother Charles. And now we have this to add to the People's Podcast archives. And shout out to his wife as well. And our upcoming interview. Malia. Yes, sir. Our upcoming interview with her as well, inshallah. Brother Charles, we got to bring you back with the release of the next book series so that we can, you know, talk about that. The People's Podcast is your home, sir. This is a sincere brother. May Allah continue to bless you and your family to keep winning. This was an honor to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad.
When can I come to Atlanta, bro?
Anytime. You already know what it is.
Last time I was out there, what was our big event that we had? Was it Holy Day of Atonement when we was at the port?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was the last time I was out there in Atlanta, man. But I need to come to Atlanta, man, and really experience Atlanta. You know, absolutely. Not experience Atlanta, you know, like Muddy Waters, but you know, experience Atlanta. I want to. Y'all got what? 2-3 miles now?
Man, we working. It's a lot of work going on down here. So
I got some homes to visit, man. You know, so man, I appreciate you, bro, and I appreciate everything you doing, man. And if you need anything, man, come on, man. You got a brother out here on the West Coast, man. You know, I know y'all do your thing up there, but man, we move out here on the West Coast, man, from Northern California to Southern California. So bro, whatever you need, man, we got you.
All praises due to Allah. Well, this is Brother Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Brother Charles. Thank you all for watching. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, bro.